You're looking live inside the arena in Orchy, France. It's time for the 5th place game, the battle between the Czech Republic and Belarus. Two sides that have already accomplished one of their pre-tournament aims of qualifying for the FIBA World Championship for women. Both of these teams have got a lot of experience, and certainly Yelena Lyshenko there is among the best centers in the world. Belarus have won a vital classification round game against Sweden yesterday to book their place in next year's FIBA World Championship. The Czech Republic, of course, they hosted the FIBA World Championship for women in 2010 and got the silver medal. And as you look at the Belarus roster, a lot of the players that nearly upset the Czech Republic back in 2010 in the semifinals still in this team, like Lyshenko, Vermayenka, Mark Clark. I don't think they had Katsiarina Snitsina back then, but it's a Belarus team that perhaps gained some confidence with their last performance against Sweden that maybe bodes well for their future.
Well, they got back on track. They played each other, these two teams, first game of the tournament, and Belarus's performance in that game really did send the message to the rest of the tournament. They kept the Czech Republic to 39 points, and their defense was the basis that they really set their stall out by, and they scored 60 themselves, and Lyshenko and Vermayenka really put the marker down and said, we're going to touch the ball, we're going to get to score. They lost their way a little bit against Lithuania, but as you say, they recovered it, and most importantly recovered it so they get the World Championship spot. I still think they have the potential with their inside strength to be a very competitive team on the biggest stage in world basketball next year in Turkey.
Well, with Vermayenka there in your screen and Lyshenko, you know, players potentially could be MVPs of a tournament like the FIBA World Championship for women. The Czech Republic, they downed Italy in their classification round game, their first one, so they bounced back from their defeat to Spain in the quarterfinals, and you know, it's not been a bad EuroBasket win for them when you consider who they showed up with and who stayed at home and what happened in this tournament. The loss of Jana Vesela to injury, but other players have stood up. Drostova, you've got Elhatova has found her range here finally from the quarterfinals and the classification round, and also Katarina Hindrakova.
Well, I think that game that we talked about earlier, the 60-39 losses when Vesela went over after 3 minutes. So obviously that was very disruptive to that game. They've come up with some huge performances to get to this stage. On the back of Hindrakova, Kristova, and finally Elhatova coming back. So this Czech Republic team, it expects to be a World Championships now. So then they've got this team in a place where if they bring people back, they're going to be as competitive as always next year. Nice balance inside and outside, and I can't finish without mentioning Kulyachova's had a best tournament for the Czech Republic in recent times.
Okay, we're going to have the national anthems for both teams here. We're going to start with Belarus. Now the Czech Republic national anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Czech Republic.
toutes et entendre le public venu pour soutenir la République tchèque et le public venu pour soutenir la Biélorussie.
The pressure is off on this team. I think a strong performance out of Belarus is needed in this game more so than the Czech Republic. I just get that feeling like it's more important for Belarus to leave on a winning note. The referees from Estonia, Wales, and Montenegro, just because there's been some unrest in the camp and some question marks about the coach and the commitment of some of the players. Vermayenka on the right, El Hotova on the left. Fascinating. I mean, have they been at their best in this tournament?
I think Vermayenka's starting at her best. The numbers in the first game when they came up with a win, she had 5 blocks, 10 points, 8 rebounds, contributed across the stats line. She didn't do anything like that until the last game. She doesn't get enough of the ball in the right areas of the floor. It's the same starting lineup that they've gone with throughout the whole tournament. And Vermayenka and Lichenko run the floor for big players better than or as good as anybody in the tournament. They need to get touches, and they look so much better. The perimeter percentages go up when they get touches. Sincina and Litarevic can score. Litarevic's defense is exceptional. And Grigas, I thought, really had the balance right in the opening game. And I've said it before, you can't lose momentum in this tournament, and with the loss to Lithuania, they did. And it's disappointing because with that inside strength, they're a match for anybody. I mean, this starting lineup, Helatova and Kristova, the most productive players with Hindrikova on the outside. And it's not surprising that they've gone with Brugova and Kuliachova with the inside strength of Belarus. They've had to go with their own twin towers. And I'll finish this little bit with the way before the national anthems. With Petra Kuliachova has really been one of the major reasons that Lubor Blazek has been able to regroup and get them to the World Championships. Because if you lose someone who's not just a quality player like Vesela, but an inspirational leader, you've got to find a way to regroup, and Blazek's done a marvelous job doing that.
He seems to do his best work with the Czech Republic.
Well, he fits, doesn't he? He really does. He seems... It must be very, very difficult, and we've said this about Pierre Vincent with France, to coach your country at home. Great opportunity, but the pressure is phenomenal. And he dealt with that in the Czech Republic, and he's moved on, and his team has always achieved good results at this level.
With Grigas and Belarus, they did rebound and play well against France when they played them in the round 2, but it was not a beautiful performance at all against Turkey. It was completely disjointed. The players looked unhappy, and I really wondered if they would be able to recover. And I think what happened was against Sweden, they got Sweden at the right time. Sweden came off a very emotional game against France, and also the Belarus experience came to the fore. As for the Czech Republic, well, one of his biggest wins came against Belarus for Blazek, so that was in the semifinals, and he came into this team after the EuroBasket Women 2009. Milan Veverka had taken over. Things didn't go well. There seemed to be some disharmony, so a change was made, and Blazek, I think, his reputation has been enhanced with the performance that he's done with this national team. They played at the Olympics last year, so this is a country, like you said, they kind of expect to be at the big tournaments, and that is easier said than done.
And it's a management job as well as a coaching job, because he's had, before this tournament, great players and with great expectations. So it's a management job there, managing those egos and getting them on the same page. Now he's had to coach some inexperienced players at this level and manage the expectations of some players like Kuliachova and Brugova, who've had to deal with a team that they have to lead on, whereas they've been just a part of the puzzle. So it's his staff is well established. He's got a very good feel with the program. And I don't think you can underestimate the pressure and the management job that Blazek has done.
Kuliachova and Vermayenka jumping center. It's not often you'll see a player of the size of Lichenko not jumping, but Belarus are blessed to have 2 tall low post players, and we'll see if they win the day. Let's don't forget, this Belarus team got a stunning display from Anu Frienka. in their win over Sweden. So I'm guessing she's coming off the bench again today. She's more of a shooting guard, has been playing a lot of point, and the early turnover goes against Belarus.
That's such a poor pass. Luchenko was wide open, and it seems he's got to do a better job of getting the ball there.
Drostova from the right corner, good! That's the one thing she's been able to do. She's stepped up from a scoring standpoint with Vesela going out.
Well, we talk about scouting reports a lot when we're covering these games, and Cincina was like just clogging the middle, and she can't because she's got to fly with the ball and get out to the shooter.
Vermaenka. Her attempt rims out. Elhotova. What do you think the difference has been with Elhotova coming back into her form?
I think she's got to that point in the last few games. Not the last game they started to drop, but she's been catching and shooting the ball. And that's what she did for fun 2 years ago, as Brugova misses the two. And she's become a better all-round player. Now she's having to like think a little bit more. She puts the ball on the floor quite well now and plays better defense.
Now there's an interesting matchup, and Luchenko unsuccessful.
I think the Czechs, more than it, with this lineup on the floor, match up with Belarus almost better than anybody, with the possible exception of France, because Kuliachova is a good matchup for Vermaenka as the Czechs miss a three.
That pass over the head of Cincina, so another turnover. And you still feel that Belarus haven't completely recovered from the loss of Marchenko as their point guard, their inspirational floor leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And it should be dead easy for them. You know, there's no disrespect to the players on the bench, but there's 5 or 6 players, including Anufranka and, 7 with Kress, who would play most of the minutes as Brugova gets so deep and scores. It should be a relatively straightforward thing to get the chemistry going. They've got a young girl with Papova on the bench that would fill that 8th player rotation. It should be easy. They've just lost their way completely.
Viktorovic. And Luchenko, she just takes her time, feet set, and showing that offensive part of her game.
It's a good sign that Vermaenka put it on the floor against Kuliachova. She's got the ability to do that and really give Kuliachova a tough time if she extends.
Bortolova's pass behind the cutter. And likewise, Bortolova has had to step in and be the point guard. I think she's done, from what I've seen, a pretty good job, you know, coming in for a true legend in the country like Horakova.
Yeah, it's a combination that Blazak has, if he gets minutes out of Bartonova, between them, they do a nice job. If one of them is slightly off, the Czechs struggle.
Well, another turnover. And that leads to the foul from Cincina.
Première faute personnelle pour Cincina. En remise en jeu, République tchèque.
And the Czechs aren't known for extending their defense, generating turnovers. They've already generated a number here.
Drostova fell over, and then she made the mistake by standing up. This is an automatic travel.
Jeff, earlier on we saw the 7th and 8th game, and Sweden came out up-tempo with some belief and some desire to play. And at the moment, these two teams don't have that same feel. They don't have that same, we're going to attack the game. One of these teams, if they got that going early, could really establish a really nice lead.
That was the foul on Kuliachova. They became a called celeb, Belarus, in 2007 when they got that bronze medal. And they became even more famous in Belarus when they qualified for the Olympics in Beijing and made it to the quarterfinals. So they've raised expectations. Now inside to Vermaenka, and they rotated the ball and found the big center right underneath.
Well, big to big. That's where the quality on the team is.
Bortolova for 3, and Cincina now gets out on the break.
They've just got to do a better job. They had a 5-on-3 then. They didn't have to make one great pass. 2 good ones would have really generated an easy shot. The bigs run the floor so well.
Firmaenko for three. Well, that's just makes the mouth drool, doesn't it?
Absolutely. She can extend the floor as well as any big player in this competition, and she's got one of the best inside threats around the hoop underneath.
She almost seems reluctant sometimes to take that shot. Zhristova from the left. She's providing the points. That's a couple of threes for Zhristova.
Well, people have been watching these games will know you've got to make Kristova put the ball on the floor. If you let her stand there, she's going to score.
Firmaenko's pass off the hands of Lashenka. And it, you know, getting back to that point about how Belarus are going to approach this game, as you see the replay of the Zhristova shot. After the last game, we spoke to Lashenka, and she didn't really want to look ahead to the World Championship. She said, listen, we've got another game to play, and we want to play well in that game. But Lashenka certainly didn't seem happy in that last game, and I was curious to know if how they viewed Grigas as the coach, and she just said they wish they could run a little bit more. Well, turnover, this time to Belarus. Well, they've got a chance to run.
And that's why she's down the floor so quickly and wants to be active. She's like not just wanting it, she'll set screens. Now she needs a touch in big to big.
Wow. And if they can get in those positions, they're very tough.
And that's exactly what they did to the Czech Republic in the first game. The two bigs run the floor so well, they get a 4-on-3, a 5-on-4. They get a numerical advantage.
And then she can block shots.
Yep. And they're off to the races again. And again, Luchenko's down the floor so quickly, and she's wide open, gets it. Well, should have got it. That's two poor passes from Centina. Does hurt the big player when they run that hard, and that happens to him.
Second traveling call called on Zhristova. Hanasova's going to come into the game for Bergrova. And Hanasova's a player that needs to step up for this Czech team. You feel like they need, she has the quality. We know Pekova will come off the bench later. She's capable. Haradzetskaya has come in, the veteran, number 12 for Belarus. And she just goes straight in for the layup.
Well, having said that Helatova is a better defensive player and can handle the ball, that was just poor.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't seen Hendrikova yet, so she's going to come into the game and replace the guilty party on that last score by Belarus. Now Bartonova, over to Kulichova. And now another chance for Belarus to quickly get the ball up the floor.
And Luchenko's was wide open again, but then they go to a tough pass. They just got to do a better job. It's a godsend to a coach to have someone of that talent, that size, who runs the floor that hard and gets down there early. Kristova in the picture there means that Cincina was wide open on the wing. Taraseva's just got to make a decision to hit the open player. You don't have to force it.
Henry Frienke's come into the game, number 9. He hit those 4 3-pointers in the first half against Sweden that really killed their chances of getting to the World Championship. Another turnover, though. Just cannot seem to execute that pass.
Just need to make 2. They're trying to make 1. Just make 2 good ones and it'll go in.
You see that Lashenka's really in this game.
And they had good. One of the things we covered when we started this tournament was that Belarus had great preparation. I mean, they were, because Veremeyka joined them a little late, but without Veremeyka, they won games. And Luchenko was pretty happy with it, the fact that they were, getting down the floor, getting their touches. They weren't scoring loads of points. They never will, because they haven't got the bodies to, go into shootouts. And they were looking great. And they just lost their way, and you can see they were just too sloppy with the basketball.
Haradzetskaya. Oh, there you go. She's going to score. Lashenka and Blazek's calling for a timeout. 2:49 remaining in the first quarter, and his team's trailing by 5.
to usledovat a když tak to dobrá. V útoku zahrajeme první pěst a druhou trojku, pamatuj.
The issue for Belarus isn't tough either. It's not as if they're trying to squeeze a pass to someone who's really guarded. You've got someone who makes such a big target, just pass it away from the defense, and she's going to go and get it. The only people who seem to be able to make the pass to each other are Veromayenko and Luchenko. They pass to each other perfectly well. And it's not as if they haven't had the whole of preparation, the last however many years, to work out that that's a really good option. And the other thing is Luchenko is not selfish. You know, she gets double teamed, she'll throw it back out and they'll get open looks. It's a weird situation. There's obviously something that's not right. And if they want to be successful next year, one way or another, they have to resolve it. That doesn't mean anyone has to change anything. They just have to sit down, work it through, prepare, and sort out the issue. Because they're a very effective team.
Hanasova, and that's a sweet stroke, but she missed it. And just the power on the boards from Lashenka. She really does have the capacity just to dominate in there, doesn't she? She sets the pick. Ooh. Hendrikova moves her feet.
Brave.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's why she plays, though. She gets stuck in.
That's a great effort defensively. You know, she's just trying to play defense. She did block.
You know, Hendrikova didn't think she was going to make the team, and has been, what would you say, one of their top 3 players?
Well, she's definitely in the rotation, and that puts her in the top 3 perimeter players, definitely. On any given night, it's 2 of those 3 that have done well, and she's been one of those 2 top players in the perimeter spots in a number of games in this tournament. She had a marvelous game against Croatia, 7 from 8 from the field, and ran the floor. She's a great finisher around the ring. And this is one of the things I can't always understand with Belarus. Having both Veromayenko and Luchenko out at the same time, I don't think they've got the depth to do that yet.
Well, Kress is in there.
And she's fine. She's experienced. She can give them mid-range, and she can give them size.
And Hendrikova is the type of player who just kind of senses, much like Vidarli for Turkey. She strikes me as being the type of player that can make plays when they need to be made.
If you don't guard her, that pull-up jump shot, she looks very solid. She doesn't miss many at all. You've really got to guard her hard on the dribble.
Onufrienko pulls it in, and she just kind of stays hot. She is a shooting guard, but she's kind of assumed a point guard role when she comes onto the floor here.
And as good as the defense or the effort from Hendrikova was the time before, Bartanova's effort there, because Onufrienko was a nice move. It's not that quick, you know, and if Bartanova stays in stance and cuts her off, it's about that. It's not about trying to go for the steal.
Volotova's taking a breather. Hanasova's back out.
Interesting dilemma for the Czech Republic here as they trail by 8, is that they've got a much deeper bench. They could try and play at a higher tempo, but it's a little bit alien to them to try and push the ball for a whole game. With Hendrikova and Helotova, they've started to do it a little bit more. She makes another one.
Yeah, she's just got it, doesn't she?
That move that's her move. Off the dribble, she's very good.
They don't want to trade baskets. They need to get some stops at this end, especially with Veromayenko and Lashenka out of the game. Popova over. And the shot from Ala Maurskaya is off the mark. And that time, Hendrikova unable to catch it.
Well, she wasn't expecting it, was it? She almost headed that one.
Well, Maurskaya makes that one.
Maurskaya had some nice games early in the tournament, then she just got forgotten and hasn't played in the big games. But she was a reasonable rotation option for Grigas at the start.
Pekova.
This is poor by the Czech Republic. Apart from Hendrikova, who's got that high percentage stuff, no Luchenko, no Veromayenko, and Brugova hasn't touched the ball. You'd think you'd give her a look against Kress or against whoever, Popova on the inside.
Aritsetskaya. Well, they've got a chance for the last shot of the quarter. Oh, they practiced those shots. I felt like Belarus would come out a little bit more driven to make a point in this game.
And I think the bigs were. I think the bigs came out and said, and it's great for Luchenko. She says to you as we look at the stats, and 72% from the two-point range is because Luchenko and Veremenko got touches. It's not rocket science. And she said she wanted to run, and she shows you that she's capable. She ran the first 8 minutes and ran every single time. So anyone says they're trying to protect her, try and give her a blow, she doesn't want. She wants to push herself hard and get points in transition. And that relationship she has with Veremenko, they can pass to each other. If they can just stay with it and just everyone buy into that's what they've got to do. The perimeter guys would be better, everyone. The guard's job should be easy. Get it down the floor and run stuff. And that's just it. Then you might get a perimeter shot after it's gone in, but all you have to do is be safe. And if you remember, when Marchenko played, she'd get it down. If she was open, she might shoot it. But they always got something in the half court because she made sure they started. You know, the first pass was always made. You had to work hard to make her turn it over. The other thing from the stats, why we see the highlights, Jeff, like over half the shots from the field from Luchenko and Veremenko. The closer they can get to that, the better. And especially if Anna Franka comes in and hits open shots when they double down, it gives teams an issue.
Well, my first opportunity to watch them at this EuroBasket women because I was in Bonn first for the early games, covering the other groups. When I saw Belarus play Turkey, I just thought, wow. This is not a very good team at all. And it's a marked contrast to that game. I'm sure they wish they could have that game back.
First time without Luchenko in the game, they go to Brugova, Kress has to foul. And it took them 4 minutes to make that sort of entry pass. And it still was a long one. And Kress should have done a better job, but both teams got to be smart.
Yep. Need to make that bounce pass. Sekova. We saw her heat up against Spain and give the Czechs a chance to win that quarterfinal in the third quarter.
Czechs have used this sort of 1-2-2 look of a zone that matches up a lot when they try to change the way the game is going, and they've got to pack it in a little more than they have done. They've got to stop the ball going inside.
Veremenko, the soft touch. And Belarus get the rebound. Lotoskaya batted it out to Kress. Anufrienka, they looked inside, but settled for the long one from the defensive-minded Viktorovich.
Again, they just missed Veremenko wide open.
The Czechs finding it a lot harder on offense. Pekova, she hits it. Well, she's got the ability to hit the three. That's kind of her area right there on the wing.
Yep. I mean, the first one she took just rimmed. It was a good look.
And Kress posts up and draws the foul on Rostova.
Beautiful little pass from Veremenko as Kress posted up. Catch, little bounce pass, soft touch. Gave it to Kress around the charge circle, and
Veremenko is able to make the entry pass. So she just wants the same thing to be done to her.
The big stuff is fine.
Oh, nice pass, or nice interception from Hendrikova to Bortolova. And back to a three-point game. So Belarus led by 8 points, and it's been whittled to 3. It's usually difficult to play catch-up against them. Well, they get it to Vermenka, but, oh, she couldn't quite control it. Now Hendrikova up to Zhristova, and she's trapped and hits Pekova. Somebody's got to be open. It's Bortolova. There she is, but she doesn't shoot it. Nice pass inside to Burgova, but not a good finish from Burgova. Pass right off the hands of Chris.
Got to catch that pass. They're getting the right looks. They're going to the right people.
Pekova. It's interesting Elhotova's going to come in because I think Hendrikova was asking for a breather. And Elhotova didn't look very happy. That's Taraseva with the foul. Timeout Belarus. They lead it 20-17 over the Czech Republic. And you can see the foul was called for that, grabbing the uniform of Hendrikova.
Well, Luchenko's going to come back. She looked like she was coming back before the timeout. So they should restore the inside combo. The inside combo is almost not the problem. They're okay. Kress does a really nice job. I like the way Marina Kress, she's done it for the last few years. It might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. She's always been able to come in and spell and be productive. There appears to be no link, so to speak, between in and outside. It's the system, it's the chemistry, whatever it is. It's still that little barrier that Belarus have at the moment. And it's holding them back. All the points for the Czech Republic there, you can see from the perimeter, largely with Hendrikova, Kristova knocking down shots, and Petkova. So, you know, they know where they're going to go.
Well, I suppose with Yelena Luchenko, she's going to stay out, probably play more minutes in the second half.
Well, that's what I thought.
She's coming in now.
Yeah, and that's what I thought earlier in the competition. I thought, oh, spell in the first and then give her extended periods in the second. But it was almost a mirror in the second half where she had to sit down for blocks of time. And it was as if, like, she was tired, but she doesn't need, she's a vet. She knows how to play tired.
Pekova from 15. Taraseva left wide open. Good. Well,
again, it's that, you know, it's great. She took an open shot after, you know, Luchenko had a touch. They rotated. The zone got dragged down, knocked down an open shot.
Pekova. Look at the active hands from Setsina. Nice play from her. Now Taraseva, so Belarus coming back out of the timeout and breathing a little bit of fire, it looks like. A little bit more resolve, determination. Passes a little bit crisper. Nice look inside.
That's how that series is how Belarus should play.
Yep. Inside,
they got Luchenko around the floor, screened, re-screened, rolled. And the ball never stayed still. And as soon as Vermenka is never the most aggressive, active cutter, but she cuts intelligently, and but she was found by Luchenko. There's no reason they can't come down the floor and try and run down and make teams stop them doing that.
And again, one of the low post players makes the entry pass so well. Of course, I guess it's easier for Luchenko to look over that defense.
Surprising that after starting with the two bigs, Czechs haven't gone back to having Kulichova and Brugova in the game together. If he's going to stay in the zone, Petkova can stay out there almost as the three if that's what he wants to do.
Brugova follows up the missed shot. Hustles back on defense, but Kulichova's going to come in, I think, and replace her. And now Luchenko again. Belarus moving it around much better. Liktarovic for three. Good. Well,
it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
It's crisp. It's sharp. Inside touches. Maybe they've had that discussion, and maybe Luchenko's won the day.
Ortolova pulls up from 12, well short. And just really that comeback from the Czech Republic just seems like it happened ages ago. But now Belarus really have the wind in their sails.
It sounds like I'm a Luchenko and Veremenko fan club here, but Luchenko just runs the floor and plays so hard.
That's why she gets the contract offers from the big clubs.
Yep.
Petkova, are they going to put up in time? Yes, they do, but Elhotova had to rush it. Oh, Belarus can really take a stranglehold on this contest with another basket. Pass again, Veremenko. I think Luchenko will have wanted to make that. She's fouled by Viorova.
Well, Blazak's taking a timeout. I'll be surprised if he's going to stay with his own. We don't see Kulichova and Brugova, or we just see we must see a change somewhere.
But don't forget they kind of caved in against Belarus in that first meeting when they lost to Vesela.
Yep. And they lost it in bunches in the game, which is almost what's happening now. They lost the first quarter when Vesela went down 21-5. Sort of clawed their way back into it to an extent, and then just blown away at the start of the fourth. Because it was like this. The Belarus kept doing the same things, got into a nice rhythm, and sooner or later the bigs were just going to wear them down. And they did a really, really nice job. And they haven't looked like that until now. They looked better last game, very good now.
Well, I suppose showing a Czech jersey to a Belarus player is kind of like showing a red to a bull. They've got the memory of 2010, losing that semifinal. Hearing those Czech fans cheering on.
One of those great games of that tournament.
Did that go to overtime?
It went to overtime, and it was on the back. It was on the back of the win before in the quarterfinal. Belarus beat Russia, which is a huge result for them. And then you thought,
and the Czechs defeated defending champions Australia.
And so it was set up, and
it lived up to the hype.
And Belarus almost had the chance in regulation to win it. They had a couple of really good looks down the end of the game, and.
Luchenko makes the first one. Hendrikova going to come back in for the Czechs. Hendrikova is not taking anything for granted in this team, saying she doesn't even know if she'll make the team next year. But I find that hard to believe. I think she's at least a squad player.
I would be, well, she's shown, you never know how good someone is at this level till they play at this level, and she's shown she can play. And she's played well against some of the better teams. She's got shots away.
Get the feeling that all is not right with Elhotova. She's not liking being on the bench and being replaced by Hendrikova. And pass, good defense from Zitsina, keeping her hands up. And then they go straight back to Luchenko. She's trying to make that, she's looking at Veremenko. Veremenko whips it out to Liktarovic. Luchenko had a good look.
It's good. It's actually enjoyable to watch. It's not that sort of disjointed Belarus we've seen.
I mean,
chunks of the tournament.
Yeah, the team that played Turkey was awful. Unrecognizable. The Czechs just really struggling right now. They're down 13. Anasova's going to go back in for Blazek.
Well, Belarus at points in this tournament. Serbia beat them first game in the second round. I mean, Great Britain had them at 6 down in the fourth quarter.
Taraseva takes it to a 15-point lead.
And they might not have been here. You know, they really might not have been here. And now they're World Championship bound. Maybe, you know, steadied the ship and they're back on track.
Plenty of cause for optimism. This is a statement game for Belarus, it looks like. And I just did not think we would see the fire in the Czechs, and so far, we're not seeing it. And Blazek keeps looking down his bench, trying to find some type of player to spark the team.
Well, there's players that have gone into the game, and apart from the way Kristova started and Hinjakova, no one's gone out there and taken the opportunity. You know, no one's gone out there and said, you know what? I haven't played a lot. This is a chance for me to play. Like Hanusova, as you said, Jeff, when she came in, she's been given so many lots and lots of opportunities on this team. And you can only be that young, inexperienced player for so long. And she's got to step up now. She's got to be assertive.
She's played in the EuroLeague Women with Brno. So she's had the experience. Bartonova, nice pass to Kulichova. Much better.
Well, I still fail to understand why Luchenko and Vermenka are out the game together with 2 to go, going up to the half.
Yeah, after really stamping the authority on the game.
Neither of them, I think Luchenko has 1 foul, Vermenka has none. But Kresser's going to score from the free throw line.
And that was a nice pass from Spitsina. I think Turkey probably watching this game thinking, wow, how did we beat them so easily?
Especially where they're getting their points, because with, you know, if Yilmaz and Hollingsworth had to face this amount of inside pass threat, it'd have been a very, very interesting game.
Boy. The struggles continue for the Czechs. Taraseva. There just seems to be so much more determination in the play of Belarus.
Yep.
Ever since he took that one timeout, and they were trailing 20-12, I think. Was that it?
Belarus had a 20-12 lead. Blazek took the timeout. They got right back in it.
Yeah.
And since then, it's just, they've got 19 now. I think they closed it to a 4-point game. They've scored 3 points since.
Kulichova. Well, Press comes down with a rebound.
Jeff, on that play, Kulyachova's going up. Hanusova, the other inside player, is going safe. And that's just not the role you want to see. You know, find ways to contribute. This is an opportunity for you. Go out and grab it. Get on the glass. There are plenty of people out there who can get back. I mean, she's running the floor hard now. She's got to be rewarded. Not like that, though.
25 seconds to go in the first half. Taraseva calling the play. 8-second differential on the shot clock. Taraseva, nobody picks her up. And it's a 16-point lead for Belarus.
What was the Czech defense doing on that play? No one tried to help. No one stepped in. They just watched her make a layup.
Kulichova gets it back and puts up a brick, and I think Blazek could end up going to halftime as upset and angry as he's been for the entire tournament. And Blazek is going to have words now with Hanusova. Why don't you take the shot?
Well, outside the three-point line with no time on the shot clock, and she throws it to Kulichova. It's that moment. Maybe this is that moment for her. Does she respond? Does she look like a player who feels she belongs? Or does she then start to be the player that slips out of this national team? And that's not overstating it, I don't think, with the players that are missing. Here are the statistics. Belarus have a very healthy 58 and 50, and they've only missed the one free throw. Dominating on the glass, all the effort parts of the game, they're really doing a nice job. And if they hadn't made those crazy turnovers when they really should have just been able to feed the inside, this game could have been done and dusted already. But as it is, the Czech Republic can't possibly be that bad again, so they've got more than an even chance of getting back into this.
Le but est d'enfiler les grandes chaussures Big Sport, de faire 5 tours autour du ballon qui sera posé sur la ligne médiane et de repartir en ligne pour essayer d'être le premier ou la première à réussir le shoot. Dans quelques petites secondes, on va accueillir les 2 nouveaux candidats pour le défi partenaire premium de la FIBA. Voilà, les voilà les candidats. Applaudissements à Martin et à Basile. Martin est vêtu du t-shirt bleu, Basile le t-shirt orange. Donc les garçons, pour recevoir les cadeaux Big Sport, il faut partir en courant, chausser les chaussures Big Sport, faire le tour du ballon 5 fois, repartir en dribble et être le premier à aller sur le shoot. C'est d'accord? Attention, 3, 2, 1, top, c'est parti. Alors 5 fois, Basile 5 fois, pareil pour Martin en bleu. Voilà, maintenant vous partez en dribble. Il faut rester le shoot, hein? Oui. Victoire de Martin sur Basile, mais Basile tu vas partir quand même avec un cadeau, ne t'inquiète pas. Le cadeau pour Martin, c'est un sac de sport PIC, comprend également une casquette PIC et une serviette de sport PIC. Pour Basile, ce sera un sac à dos PIC. Et on vous rappelle que vous retrouvez les chaussures PIC Tony Parker dans les magasins Intersport de la région. Intersport également partenaire de l'EuroBasket Women 2013. on vous rappelle qu'il y a la boutique officielle de l'EuroBasket Women 2013 avec de très beaux t-shirts, de très beaux goodies aux couleurs de l'EuroBasket Women 2013. La boutique de la Fédération française également de basketball avec un très grand nombre de goodies, de maillots officiels de l'équipe de France, des bonnets également et des écharpes griffées Thomas M.
Belarus have the Czech Republic right where they want them. They're on top 35-19 in the battle for 5th place. Belarus wanting this a lot more than the Czech Republic, it seems. And without question, Lubor Blazik, not a happy camper at the end of the first half for the Czechs. I think he's probably gone into the changing room and challenged his players to come out and play with a little bit more fire and determination. He's clearly unhappy with how the players have come out and performed tonight.
Yeah, it's not a technical challenge, is it? It's got to be a challenge as women. You know, like, you know, you got to stand up as a woman and be counted here. This isn't about your technicalities or anything else. You show me what you are. This isn't about anything else now for the Czech Republic. The talent's not the question. They've shown it in the tournament. Who are they as individuals? Can they deliver?
Deuxième période, troisième quart.
So the Czechs will start in a zone. And the hands are up. And look at how Belarus do a good job of first feeding Lyshenka, and then she hands it off to Vermayenka, and Vermayenka missed an easy one.
Kristova was just, wow, watching a different game as they turn it over.
Lyshenka running the floor, gets it back, hands it off, and unselfish Lyshenka. And Snitsina intercepts the pass, and it's more problems for the Czechs, who are trailing by 18. And Lyshenka goes to the free throw line.
Well, if you're going to challenge people as individuals to come out and put out a performance, maybe a zone is not necessarily the best vehicle for that, unless you're going to trap in it or really match up hard. But Kristova at the back, the first off, and just watch Lyshenka just face cut her from the back and just didn't even attempt to bump her. Surely in that halftime locker room, they said, let's find out if this team can shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Well, he's going to go deep to his bench. It looks like Hedova has taken off her jersey, or her warm-up, and is going to go into the game. That's what she needs, to go to the basket, forget the fadeaways, attack.
Nice move. Kept it away, going over Vermayenka. She tried to help, no mean feat.
And Kulichova comes over Lyshenka, causes the turnover. And they pass inside to Kulichova. She wanted the foul, and so did Blazek. And then Bortolova just takes it right away from Liktorovic. Just for three. And she just, Vermayenka suddenly now is in another world. I mean, she missed the layup at the beginning and then just throws the ball right into the hands under the Czech basket to Rostova.
I think you tell kids, don't throw it back under your basket when they first really sort of start to play.
Yeah, cardinal sin. Taraseva, though, hits a three, and nobody within a country mile of Taraseva, who did hit a three-pointer in the first half. Bortolova, and Kulichova just doesn't catch it. And now Belarus hurry it up the floor as well. Oh, he's going to replace Bortolova with Bartonova. But I thought that was a very catchable pass. Maybe a little bit behind Kulichova. Luchenko from the baseline. And then Vermaenka just goes in, swipes it out. Brogova should have done better in that situation.
No physicality at all.
3 seconds?
Probably was. And I don't think if you're Belarus, you just don't mind. Yeah, they're not going to call it very often. I'm going to stay in here as long as I can. And they ended up with a Vermaenka penetration looking for Luchenko. They just got out of time. Offensively or defensively, you just want to see the Czech Republic instead of...
Look at Teraseva just take it away, though.
Just messed around with it. Tremendous effort by Teraseva, but she was so indecisive, Barton. There's just no decisiveness about what they're doing at all. And now they're just going to let Belarus, they're going to sit in this zone and let Belarus pass it round.
And Teraseva, another three.
Wide open look on inside look. It's the defense from the Czech Republic is not generating anything.
Brogova pulls up.
Well, with the possible exception of France, I can't think of a team I'd at least be like to try and come back against in Belarus, because they do such a good job of eating up shot clock.
And Luchenko gets blocked inside. And now fast break for Elhotova, and she waited for the contact. And if there's one player you would expect to make the basket in that situation, it's Elhotova, and Snitsina fouls her. So that cuts it back to a 15-point game and a chance to get it even closer to 14, although not too much contact from Snitsina. Well, a little bit on the side.
Belarus have taken this timeout. They've gone inside. They've got good options on the inside. Okay, then Vermaenka more than anyone else just looked like she was still in the locker room. Okay, they got beat on transition. The game still looks exactly like it looked in the first half, which really suits them. Blazek was the guy looking for an answer, and he's almost got an extra timeout here. And I would hope he's in that there's something like, you're going to attack this. We're going to get up the floor a little bit. We might trap in this zone, or if we're going to go back man to man. We're going to throw it inside. We're going to try and make something happen. If we lose, who cares? We're going to lose at the moment. Because he's still coaching. He's really working he's really working hard here to try and find a way to drag this team out of the malaise they're in and get them back into the game. If he can get one of his guards to function, then throw Hindrikova in there to get on the end of a guard function just to knock down some shots.
Well, I can see that Hezdova's not happy about not getting into the game for the Czechs, because he told her to take off her warm-up and to be ready to go in, and she hasn't gone in. I can see her kind of like discussing with her teammates, is he not going to put me in? So, you know, Belarus isn't the only camp where there's some unhappy players, it seems.
Got to make things happen with this zone. They've got to one and out. It's got to be one and out. Belarus make the shot fine, but you've got to box out.
Yeah, but you could just see the passing was just so much more, so crisp.
Yep. Vermaenka gets into double figures. Her and Luchenko, 19 between them.
Oh, Teraseva was ready to take it. Kulichova gets it back. So a nice play from Bartonova. She gets the double team.
And if you're one of these traveling Czech fans, this team owes you a performance. They've got to go out and really put something on the floor here, effort-wise. It's a great pass.
Oh.
In the back of the zone, lets her step ahead of her. If she steps ahead that deep, she's going to score. Bumper. If you have to pick some fouls up, pick some fouls up.
Now Snitsina on Zustova. Zustova for three. That's off the rim. And now Liktarovic over to Snitsina. And they do run it. And look who's up on the front end of the break. Lashenka.
Kuliachov just sort of duck in on her again.
Taraseva, good! Just wide open.
And I hate to say it again, but that's what giving inside touches can do. It gives the perimeter players some really nice options to come and catch the ball, and to get into gaps and knock down shots.
Kulichova inside, shoots over Vermayenka. There aren't too many people that can do that. And Afrika's going to come in for Taraseva, who's played very well today.
These last 3 minutes of the third, really key. It's a 16-point game. If the Czechs can do this.
Well, right when I say she was playing well, she turns it over, and now we've got an unsportsmanlike foul to prevent the fast break on Lashenka. So mental mistake from Lashenka. Watch her. Bartonova has had it picked off her, and then she just swipes it away. Lashenka comes out of the game.
Bartonova needs to make these two. They need I'll make the next one really solid possession, and they can really get some make a dent in this 16-point margin.
Well, she missed both of them. Frustration.
It's Dover's in now, finally. She's obviously been stretching intensely on the side. Needs a bit of time to get mentally ready.
She pops outside. Bartonova feeds Kulichova, but it goes out of bounds. So a potential of a 4 or 5 point play ends up being 0 points. The 2 missed free throws and the turnover. Nice play from Bartonova. Still making the effort on defense. Vermayenka fade away, and Haradsetskaya just kind of waltzes into the lane and picks up the rebound.
You got to feel for coaches in this situation. Lubo Blazek's had to sit down because I don't know what else he can do now.
Yeah.
Haradsetskaya, who's would be classed as hugely athletic in terms of her quickness, just a very, very solid player. Nice pass again. Comes and gets an offensive rebound. Marina Kress passes it from the short corner there on the baseline, gets it to Vermayenka, front cuts ahead of Kuliachova and catches it. Just a little bit of defensive effort, just to show, even if it's a bumper on the cut.
Snitsina hits the jumper, so back to 18-point lead. And maybe it's situations like this where you see the leadership that's gone with Vesela and Vitechkova and Horikova. Bartonova.
Well, there'll be a question. I mean, Vesela stayed with the team after the injury, so she's been here for the whole tournament. An interesting question to ask her at this point, you know, how she felt, why are they letting this happen? She definitely would not let this happen.
Well, Belarus, for some reason, don't get the shot off. So they've broken down at the end of a EuroBasket where you see Vermayenka's taking a seat. She doesn't seem to have come out with the same type of approach in the second half. Andrikova goes baseline. Well, that's there for them, and it's a 16-point deficit.
It's a really lovely first step, really decisive, and that's what's been missing from a majority of the Czech lineup at the moment.
But also to attack the basket with vigor. not just to flip the ball up around the rim. I haven't seen Hedgedova take a shot yet. He's moving her feet on defense, and Bartonova reaches in, gets another steal. Now Hedgedova crosses midcourt. Now she's going to let one go and missed everything. It was online, but way too hard. But maybe that comes with sitting.
Maybe.
And Hedgedova blocks Haradsetskaya. Now Bartonova crosses midcourt.
Oh, it's a poor pass.
Bartonova's pass intercepted. Now Snitsina, boy, the game has gotten really sloppy the last minute.
And the frustration for Lubo Blazic is Bartonova is his most active defensive player. He's come up with a couple of steals.
Yeah.
Just comes down the floor, misses free throws. Comes down the floor with a 2-on-1, 3-on-2 like break option. And even if the pass hadn't been intercepted, it was behind Kulichova. No point. You've got to be poised in that role. We've seen some great guard play in this tournament. You've got to be poised.
Hendrikova, I like the determination. She's probably the only player that has really come out. Well, Bortolova's come out and been pretty professional throughout.
And you can't fault Bartonova's effort with the defense.
No, she just doesn't have it offensively.
Yep.
So the end of the quarter is 50-36. Belarus had an open look. It could have been worse. They were down 16. So at least they've won that quarter, if you want to call it that.
And that's important because they, if there was some intent on this bench, they'd be saying, okay, we picked up 2. Let's move on from there to our possession or whatever at the start of the, we're going to run this, we're going to get something going in the first 3 or 4 minutes. I just don't know if that's being said, or it might be being said by Blazic. I don't know if it's being thought by a number of players, because Belarus's percentages haven't really dropped. The Czech Republic done a better job from the 2-point line, but they're just losing the physical battle. They're just not doing a great job on the glass. And you know that as soon as Luchenko comes back into the game, everything becomes much more difficult. They've got to take advantage of the period where Luchenko isn't in the game. If I'm Grigas now, I'm looking at starter, sit her down for a minute or so, halfway through, bring her back. Don't let the Czech Republic get that start where they might get it to a 10-point game quickly, and then Luchenko comes in when the Czech Republic have momentum.
I just wonder if Blazek in the first half could have called his timeouts a little bit faster before they started getting into this. It was 20 to, he called it when it was 20 to 12.
12, yeah.
So he got it back to 2017.
And then he scored 2 points in about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, he got a 3 timeout in that quarter because I didn't really see the Belarus need for the timeout. And so he had a free one. He's still got 3 left. Now he's got 10 minutes, 14 points. 10 minutes is not the problem. It's more than enough time against the Belarus team that, without Luchenko, struggles to put numbers up in a game. If the Czech Republic get going. Hendrikova's still in the game. I think that's really important. She is one of the people on this Czech team that looks like she wants to try and score every time she touches the ball. Any score, a good option here in the half court will be a real signal for this quarter from the Czech Republic.
Belarus acutely aware of Hendrikova being out there, and the foul committed by Tarasev on the perimeter. There's a big crowd tonight, so Czechs want to leave a good impression here at the EuroBasket women. Bortolova, 5 on the shot clock. She pulls up, and Snitsina with the rebound.
Well, it's an 8-foot jump shot. I don't know if Bagrova or Kulichova touched it.
Teraseva, 2 on the shot clock into Kress. Good job for the Czechs. So how long will Lashenka stay out? She went to the bench after the unsportsmanlike foul, which, to be honest, it wasn't that bad of a foul.
There was just no one behind.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it was a huge mental mistake, especially with the big lead, but she hasn't come back since. Bounce pass to Bergova. Hejdova steps inside, off the back of the rim, back outside to Bortolova.
Well, she missed a shot, Hejdova, but she stayed with the play.
And Bortolova does everything she can to get to the free throw line.
Well, she was the 24-second clock down the other end. There's Luchenko and Viermenka come back in, and Franka rather come back in. Bortolova calls the 24-second. She fronted Kress and Kuliachova. They recognized it, so there was no option to get the mismatch. And now she took a really definite move to the hoop, so that's good signs. This will be the first points of the quarter. You wouldn't mind seeing them extend the defense, would you? Just to try to generate some pace. But this will cut it to 12, and there's still 8:50 to go.
Well, they've got the ability to play some pressure defense, but Lashenka, the skillful dribbler, takes it up the floor across midcourt. Just because she's tall doesn't mean that she can't handle the ball. Tsitsina goes right around Hejdova. Seems like Snitsina's lost weight since the last time I saw her playing. Does she look thinner to you, Snitsina?
Since like this
tournament.
Not since yesterday.
No, 2 weeks ago.
No, I think she looks, yeah, I know where you're coming from, totally. She used to be quite a physical player.
She looks lean.
Yeah.
I know she had a big knee, I think it was a knee injury.
That's why she
at
missed
the World Championship.
Yeah, that's why she missed one of the big tournaments because she was hurt. Kuliachova trying to. That's a good sign.
Yeah, and Lashenka just lost the ball, but it goes out of bounds off of Kuliachova with 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
That's better by Kuliachova. She can't play her physically, so she's got to try and play along.
Yeah.
So the fact she's putting in the effort to get around, and they've switched the matchup, and they've gone long against
they let
Luchenko.
Snitsina come in and catch the inbounds, and they escape. She's got a soft shot, Snitsina. And Bergova fouled by Viermenka. Well, if the Czechs can get some fouls and start taking free throws, that might be a good option for them, stopping the clock.
Well, that's the third team foul already.
Hejdova.
Yeah.
Ooh, goes in amongst the Giants and shoots over Snitsina. And Kulichova's whistled for the foul. Holding on Lashenka. Good strong move. Look at that. Oh, she was holding Anufrienka.
She put her palms on it, didn't she? No reason to either.
Well, that was a good aggressive play by Hejdova offensively. She's probably bought herself some more time out on the floor with that. Oh, they've dropped off and just living dangerously is the best way you could put it. Bortolova dances around Anufrienka. Hendrikova inside, and she's pushed by, they hit the cutter, but Hendrikova couldn't catch it.
Kuliachova gets no love sometimes.
Nah, she was pushed by Viermenka.
And she's not the physical specimen that can absorb that and keep going. She has to reestablish her balance.
5 on the shot clock. Now Lashenka passes it back out to Viermenka. She knows the time is running out and puts up an air ball. Vermaenka just doesn't seem to be the same player.
I hate to say it again, though, but they look good when they go transition first and then trust themselves to make a good decision. When they walk it down, they are not the same team because they can't break down any team in the half court.
I was quite happy with the play of Hedgedova. I think she should go back out after she sits down.
Well, that's the fourth team foul. Still 7 minutes to go. Light at the end of the tunnel, and it's only a 10-point game. It looks like Petkova's coming in, who we know can hit threes in bunches.
But will these same players, will the new players play with the same sense of urgency?
Well, he's got his most potent offensive lineup on the floor with Kristova, Petkova.
Look at the aggression. I like the play from Bortolova. Not messing about. And she commits the foul from reaching behind.
Well, that's the fourth team foul for the Czech Republic, so the advantage they had there is gone.
It is because Belarus shoot free throws well, don't they?
And Luchenko's like a foul magnet at times. If you throw it in there, often you have to foul.
Spin move, but ball stays out.
Poor decision, though. She didn't have a massive mismatch and decided to go to a fadeaway jump shot.
And could have attacked.
And it sums up what you've been saying about her. She's just not in the same place she was in the first half.
No. She's in the lounge, on the recliner. And that was, I think, Lushenko that knocked that ball away.
They've got to move the bigs. They've got to try and stretch the floor. And now they've got Kristova and Petkova in the game. There should be a way to bring one of Vermaenka or Luchenko out of the middle. Probably Vermaenka.
Helotova comes in for Hendrikova.
Well, if there was ever a moment for Helotova to just get it going again, this is it.
One on the shot clock. She's got to put up a prayer. So breakdown from the Czechs.
Well, Belarus haven't scored this quarter yet. That's 4 minutes of not scoring, but the Czechs are winning it 4-0. So they've had their opportunity to really eat into the 10-point lead, and they're just not taking it.
Oh, that's not, I think there's some body initially, and then she went, it looked like she had both hands up.
You know, I'd like to see it again because there's bound to be contact because of the way she made the move. No, I'm sorry.
No, on the direct, as she made her move, it kind of curled. You could see that,
there was some contact.
Kulachova lowered the arm.
A little bit on that part of the move, but he didn't call it then. He tried to let Luchenko go, and sometimes I have that issue. And the difference between the two players is that happens to Kuliachova. She can't get through that contact. Luchenko's good enough too. I'm not sure. It's, if I'm Kuliachova, I'm feeling I don't get that call she does. It's a captivating 4-2 at the moment in this quarter.
Oh, it's good. Good hustle by Sneaksina. She sneaks in there really on defense, doesn't she?
Petkova or Kristova or Heltova could really bring the Czech Republic back into this in a hurry if they could just get themselves open.
Oh, nice find inside. What happened to the Belarus?
Get a stop now. Get back-to-back points, and you're in single figures, and it's very, very manageable then.
Good hustle, but the gamble. And once she gets the ball inside, she's really dominating, isn't she? Bortolova hands it off to Petkova. Don't want to trade baskets. They've really got to keep Lushenko off the blocks. I don't think they have to worry as much about Vermaenka right now because she looks almost disinterested.
Just double team Luchenko down there. Put one in front, one behind. Find someone else and just scramble.
Taraseva misses. And Lashenka kept it alive.
Chance now to get into single digits. What the Czechs wouldn't give for a Petkova or a Kristova 3 right now, or Heltova.
Bortolova and turns it over. And Stetsina, that's your point guard.
She had Petkova on a pick and pop wide open in the corner. She had Kristova, who really moved well to get above the ball and therefore couldn't be denied, and they couldn't help Bortolova. And she just kept going.
Yeah.
And all she was looking at was Luchenko and Veromayenko, and you think like, oh, give it up.
Aspoň naznačit natáhnout na sebe v obránce. Hrajeme aktivně, v obraně teď je to horší, že všechno hážou. Belarus!
On ira jusqu'au bout de cette finale de l'EuroBasket Women 2013.
Bortolova penetrated, but there does come a time when you're surrounded by 4 players that you have to get rid of it. And she just took that one step too far in.
And she's good, and that's what, you know, she's had a really nice tournament. Where is she? It's the thing where you could point the finger at a number of Czech players. They haven't really been focused here at all. Kristova, for example, had 10, and most of those were in the first part of the game. Hasn't had a look for a long, long time. That's not because Belarus extend their defense. One thing they do though is shoot free throws very well. And if you're a Czech Republic player, do you really want to finish the tournament going to the World Championships feeling bad about how you played? You want to give it your best shot in this last part of the game.
Absolutely. Belarus 12 of 13 at the line, by the way. Petkova drives in. And Belarus did just enough to keep possession. And the service going to come in.
I really don't think that they're going to win the game penetrating to the hoop. There's no way back. They've got to back themselves to
hit some shots.
Yeah. They're too good, too big, too everything on the inside, Belarus. And they're just going to try and squeeze the life out of the game.
Vikarovic gets inside. And the giant presence of Lashenka gets the rebound. Back for Grigas' team. Bartnova will come back in for Bortolova. Stetsina hands it to Lashenka and free throws. So that foul on Bortolova, her third. See her reach in. And Lashenka really doesn't miss free throws. They're shooting 92% at the line today.
If you're a critic of Belarus, and they've had plenty of critics throughout this tournament, you can say, well, you know, it's not the most exciting way to play, but the way they played in the first half was exciting. That's how they can play. But they are very, very efficient. You foul them, they make free throws. They get up on the game, they don't turn it over. It's when they try and rush, they can turn it over. They turn it over a lot in this tournament because the inside players don't get touches.
Kristova catches the ball, the handoff, knocks it down, back to 12. Highlights that Sky is in as well for Belarus. Oh, she carried it. Oh, and then she throws it right in the hands of Bartnova. Unlike Bartnova, she wasn't ready, but Bartnova does a good job defensively, keeps her feet in front of Taraseva.
And regardless of what Coach Blazak is saying to you and stuff, you see Harrods has struggled handling the ball like that. There are teams in this tournament that would have just double team, take it off her, make
Serbia.
her. Absolutely. They wouldn't have, if they pick a foul, so what? They'd have gone after it. And if you want to come back from 12 down with 2:50 to go, you've got to go after it.
Ooh, she almost carried it as well. Oh, thought she was going to do it. And that is where Hanasova has to be strong going to the basket, even though she's going up against probably the best shot blocker in the tournament.
You definitely don't stop in front of her and let her block you.
Personnel à la numéro 9, Bartonova, changement pour la Biélorussie, sortie de la joueuse numéro 11, Veredraginka, remplacée par la numéro 13, Maria Pavlova.
I would hope that when they look at that replay that they would tell Hanasova, listen, instead of fading away, go to the basket. You're not going to get the foul if you're fading away, really.
Yeah. And she had a half a step. Go to the far side of the ring, let the ring protect you from the block.
Yeah.
Do something.
That reverse layup.
Just do something that's going to give you a chance, at least. Because a stop, a turnaround jump shot against the best shot blocker in the tournament is only going to be one thing.
Hendrikova. No, she needs to have the tenacity, for example, of Hendrikova.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
approach.
And there's no Veremanka in the game now. And there's still 2:20 to go. It's only a 14-point game with 2 shots to come. They make these cut it to 12. I still think they've got to trust themselves from beyond the 3-point line a little, but they miss it there. Even Hendrikova, who's had a great tournament from the free throw line and a great tournament shooting the ball, misses a throw. So maybe it's just not to be for the Czech Republic.
Sometimes games like this happen. We saw it happen yesterday to Sweden against Belarus. Maybe it just happens against Belarus.
Well, they do give you a problem because they have that challenge on the inside. Pass.
And Schenker goes to 16 points. 18 points, 5 of 10, because she had those free throws. So she's had herself a nice little game here. She's also got the 7 rebounds and the 5 assists. And you just feel the Czech challenge dying.
Well, they look like a team that achieved what they'd said they were trying to do, make the World Championships. And they couldn't just pick themselves up for a one-off game, which is what this is.
Kovačová fouled out. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for the Czechs. Haritsetskaya, bounce pass. I mean, that's not pretty, but it almost worked. Nice penetration. Haritsetskaya does play with some coolness, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's smooth.
She's,
deceptive.
yes, deceptive is a good word about her. And I think if she was out there with a unit where she could play, she could actually become a reasonable, a role player. After a fashion.
Yes. Well, the Czechs right now shooting 37%. At the line.
Which is made even worse by the fact they haven't really been there that often either. So
Trofimova coming in. And she's been ailing, you say?
yeah, but in recent games, in the games that really mattered, he played her a lot, and today he hasn't put her on the floor at all. Well, they're making Haritsetskaya look a reasonable player at the moment.
Yes.
Throwing one-handed look-away passes.
Well, she did hit a big three-pointer against Sweden. Bergerova goes up.
I don't know why she's... Maybe it's what Belarus do to you, but there's no one in there who's going to block anymore. She still looked for someone going to come over the block. She should have just finished. But we're being very negative about the Czechs, and rightly so. But I think at the end of the day, Belarus have dragged themselves out of a situation where at various points in this competition they've looked great, and other points they almost didn't get to the quarterfinal. They dragged themselves out of that, atrocious performance against Turkey. They dragged themselves out of that and found ways to finish 5th and qualify for the World Championship. So
the same thing happened in 2007 at the EuroBasket in Chieti. They finished 5th. It was a really tough EuroBasket. I seem to remember it was a 5th place finish. Yeah, they just went out and really blew out Lithuania. And it wasn't a great EuroBasket. They tend to do just enough sometimes to get their aims. And you can say the same about Belarus. 18 points, Lashenka 14, Taraseva.
Belarus are taking this time out. They're up 13.
Smiles on the bench over there, by the way. Svitsina, Nikorovic, and Kretz, all of them. Well, they finished the tournament with 2 wins.
Yeah, and 2 wins against 2 good teams.
Who do you say has been their best player today? Lashenka and then maybe Taraseva?
Well, I'd say Luchenko. I think they've been their best player in the sense that they've decided to get the ball inside, and Luchenko's enabled that to happen. So Luchenko by a long way, and for all sorts of reasons as well. I thought in the first half, Veremenko-Luchenko combination was sensational, and that put the platform in place. And Veremenko said, "Well, I've done enough. You know, I'm done. We're okay."
So both teams will see at the FIBA World Championship for women next year. They'll have preparations. I'm guessing they should have Vesela back, Vitechkova back. We're talking about the Czech Republic. Yep. And Belarus, well, it's certainly not, you know, certainly something's there. I mean, they could be dangerous.
Very dangerous in a World Championship where you know that they would expect to beat the best teams coming out of Africa and even of China. They would expect that, so that puts them in a quarterfinal. And if they can play like this in a quarterfinal, they can frustrate anybody. They can frustrate France. They can frustrate.
And don't forget Tatiana Troina as well.
Yeah, and with a major injury, she'll be back. It would be good if they could find another guard. And their age group teams have been okay, but you know, you'd have thought they might be able to find another guard to give them rotation at that spot. And that might enable them to move Anu Fraenke to the 2, where she's very effective. So if you've got Luchenko and Veremenko on the inside, Troina coming back will give them a really nice option in terms of a little bit more activity and quickness at that sort of large, you know, the big forward spot. So if they get into one-off games with this type of game on the floor, they can beat anybody, maybe with a possible exception of the medalists that might come out of that tournament. And who knows, on a given night, in a steamy gym in Turkey and everything else, when you don't make things in the perimeter, they could just dominate people with Luchenko. If Luchenko, and maybe the schedule in the World Championships after the WNBA season, all that stuff will really help.
And Drakova pulls in, gets blocked. I like Burgova. She's a good sport out there. Just keeps things into context.
I think the combination of her and Kulichova, when Vesela's out there and other people, is really, really effective. They've just been asked to do too many things.
Yeah.
If they're out there playing defense, expected to pick up 4, 6, 8 points and some rebounds, they're more than capable of doing that. Because if there's a Vichkova knocking down shots for fun, as she can do on occasions, then...
I'm sure Italy must be watching this, wondering why the Czechs didn't play like this against them. Trofimova gets ahead on the fast break and doesn't convert. You know, these girls will have, at least the Czechs, for the most part, will have another year of EuroLeague women experience under their belts. Maybe they could put a good team together as well, so they don't end strong. Their place is already secure at the World Championship, but Belarus, I think, are going to leave much more positive vibes after their last 2 games. Much more professional, and hugs all around, and joyous scenes
Well, they look happier today than they did yesterday almost, when they qualified for the Worlds.
Yeah, and I think it's the Czech Republic thing. I think they really like to beat them after what happened in 2010.
But they played in a really attractive way in the first half, then they just did enough to hold on. And like Luchenko herself must be very pleased that, you know, she said some things about wanting to run. She gave the team the chance to run. She was available and put in a shift out there. Did a really nice job. Points and rebounds. And as I say, when Vermaker is focused, that's a sensational combination. And like you, Teraseva had a nice game. All's well that ends well, I think is the phrase for Belarus.
Rostova and the rest of the Czechs finished behind Luchenko and Belarus. And the numbers, the free throws. I think that free throw game really kind of is a reflection of the concentration, the seriousness of which they're taking it.
Yep.
And they were just outstanding the last 2 days at the stripe. Now, I think I could see out of the corner of our screen that Blazek is talking to Hanasova and trying to coach about, I think, on that last trip down the floor. He's got, you know, he needs some, I think he needs some leaders to step up in this team. He needs some of the young kids to start to show some leadership. And he's looking at Hanasova, for example, who plays in the EuroLeague Women, as a player who has to step up.
Well, and it's an opportunity. That's the thing that disappoints people, as you see the people who've qualified already for Turkey, the other regional championships to come over the summer. And you can watch all that action on the live basketball TV site. So if you want to see the best teams in Asia and America do their thing, and Africa, you can see all those games. But these young players could become the leaders of this Czech Republic team for a number of years to come, because all those players have left, are leaving at the end of their careers at the same time.
Well, somebody has to do it. Belarus win at 64-50 to finish 5th.